So, full disclaimer, I rarely like superhero games, and I can't remember the last one I played that blew me away. And I don't like a lot of open world games as well.
Hey! Give me some eyes! Look at me! Cool your jets! Alright, beat it!
Holy shit, this was really enjoyable. Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales is effortlessly fun. It has a surprisingly strong human element to it while offering combat that feels endlessly rewarding. The new skills keeping Spider-Man Miles Morales feeling fresh throughout from minute one. It has one glaring, large, annoying weak point in its overall package, but it is a really solid entry point into Spider-Man for me, and I didn't actually play the original on the PS4. And I think the biggest initial compliment I can give Spider-Man is that despite it being a very short game, it really makes me want to spend £70 on the sequel right now. So without further ado, let's get into it. Thank you for coming. This is Lost in the World and welcome to my review of Spider-Man Miles Morales on the PlayStation 5. So brief background check on my superhero credentials. I have no superhero credentials. Check complete. I've never followed superhero lore or story carefully. I like to dip in and out, so my opinions on this game come from more a video game centric viewpoint than a comic book one. I never played the PS4 original, so though there's no feeling of repetition here, it was all new to me. So this is coming from someone who was looking at the city and game mechanics with fresh eyes. So with all that said, let's just talk about how goddamn pretty this game is. If you're looking for a game to show off what your PlayStation 5 can do, then Spider-Man Miles Morales is certainly up to the task. Insomniac's New York looks fantastically festive. The first time you sit on a building and overlook Central Park really takes your breath away. I played in Performance RTX mode, which was a mode that was added a little bit after release. I didn't play Spider-Man fully until a couple of weeks after I got my PS5, because I was reviewing Demon Souls. Demon Souls review below. The Performance RTX modes give 60 FPS with ray tracing at a slightly lowered resolution. I much preferred that. I cannot play any game at 30 FPS. I refuse to. It's just, it's not something anybody should have to go through.
It's embarrassing. Take it back!
The enhanced details on the characters, from clothing and skin textures to facial animations, has also been ramped up. Whichever specification you select though, the overall quality is quite extraordinary, especially in more enclosed areas where there are some truly eye-popping moments. Also a special shout out to Harlem, which really feels like home and it serves as the primary backdrop to the story. The soundtrack is fantastic, with a moment at the start of the game that truly was memorable to me because I'm a huge fan of Kid Cudi, who's a hip-hop artist. And a song of his kicks in just as you get past the first boss fight and you sit up atop a skyscraper overlooking Harlem, and the song kicks in and it just feels like, welcome to the next gen. On a whole, the soundtrack is epic, giving New York a street feel alongside its more orchestral moments. I can't talk about the technical side without talking about the loading times, and oh wow, those juicy loading times. I mean, it was borderline instant. It truly feels next gen. They should have called this Spider-Man May Cry. Holy crap, the combat in this game is unreal. The new Venom powers, no, not that Venom. Well, at least I don't think so. I don't really know anything about the history of Spider-Man.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
Create a combat loop that is pure crack. It did not get old for 1 minute. The feedback on the impact from the Venom strikes is fantastic. I personally didn't like playing stealth, and I don't like playing stealth, so I didn't realise until much later, but the stealth here is borderline broken. Don't use it, it makes the game stupidly easy and kind of ruins a lot of the combat fun you can have. The movement around the map is great. I did struggle a little bit when it came to dismounting or jumping off walls, but overall it's incredibly slick. Talk about nailing the feeling of Spider-Man. The set pieces, outside of the few boss or story moments, are a great little touch. They are lacking in number. I don't know if I missed them initially, but I had a few car chases and one mission where I jumped on a helicopter briefly. They were all really cool and a lot of fun. It's a bit of QTE mixed in with a bit of Fast and Furious Spider-Man style. There are a variety of suits that offer some slightly different playstyles and mods, but honestly I couldn't decide if I was happy they didn't do too much or annoyed I couldn't go full RPG on my playstyle. Mostly they're cosmetic though, and really, and with a little bit of individuality thrown in. But more importantly, why the hell can I not have a cat in my backpack before I finish the game? No, why? So the overall structure of the game is pretty straightforward for open world games. You have your main missions, you have your collectibles, you have your side missions. The side missions delivered via the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man app. An interesting choice by the developers. But some of those jobs, yeah, I really don't want those jobs.
How's your job search coming?
It's good.
Yeah?
It's going to be good.
The game lacks in length. I will say it avoids one of my pet peeves for open world games, which is ridiculous bloat. This game feels tightly structured with a slimline feel. Maybe a bit too slimline for the price tag? Maybe, but that isn't my main issue with the game. I don't mind a narrowed down game experience if the product is focused. So then let's go on to the story-stroke narrative of the game. So this is where the game both excels and suffers its biggest issue. Overall, the game has a very real human beating heart. All the characters are brilliantly portrayed and Miles Morales is instantly likable. I love the fact that he has a Puerto Rican heritage. It's great to see a superhero origin story touch on the experience of a minority. It's brilliant some of the most heartfelt moments in this game involve Miles and his family when he's not wearing his suit. You can't help but root for Miles, who's unbelievably likable despite his obvious self-doubts. However, for me, the game suffers badly from its lack of show-stopping moments. The game is short, clocking it at around 10 hours, so there's not really enough time for there to be enough moments in this game. And the high-octane, mesmerising start feels like a stark contrast to the next 8 hours of the game. The enemies for 80% of the experience are very generic. It's so frustrating because when the game goes full-out badass, holy crap, it's mind-bogglingly, eye-meltingly good. But 80% of this game is beating up on some guys who escaped from The Division and maybe The Division 2. Some guys who sound like they belong in a sexual health advert. Rocks on. For all your sexual health needs, get your rocks off. And some guys who look like they've just escaped from a glow stick rave in some underground club. Get it? Underground club? But for large parts, it feels generic, which is painful for me to say because when it's on, it is on. This is further confirmed by the completely badass ending that had my hair standing on the back of my neck. You felt like you really saw Miles grow up before your very eyes in the last 30 minutes of this game. It's really emotional and it was absolutely fantastic. The overbearing feeling though from the experience, why are we not fighting more badass villains? It feels like such a huge missed opportunity. I think I got more excited from the reveal after the end credits roll than I did for 90% of the game. I mean, I'm no comic book expert, but I'm pretty certain that the guys from The Division, the guys from the sexual health advert, and the glowstick rave guys are not the peak of superhero villains in the Marvel universe. Outside of the two main boss battles, one right at the beginning and another one or two right at the end, this game sorely needed more set pieces and showpiece events. Again, this was further magnified by the final few missions that revolve around the main villain, the Tinkerer. All of which are fantastic. I mean, there's one mission where you're kind of flying through the air, she's flying through the air, and you're swinging through the city and things are exploding, and it's unbelievable. But it just leaves you wishing that there was so much more of it. Sadly, this then further adds insult to injury when someone rings you on your mobile phone and asks you to feed their fucking pigeons. Like, bro, I don't want to feed your pigeons. I want to kick badass supervillain ass. No, I don't have any bread for your pigeons. Go away.
Hey, buddy, relax. Like this. Turn and pull. Turn and pull. Forget about it. You'll be out in no time.
This is a classic case of playing a game, finding it really enjoyable, but feeling it could have been so much better. As I said before, the best compliment I can give this game is, despite it being £50 in the UK and only about 10 hours roughly in length, it's good enough to make me want to go and buy the next installment for £70 right now, because the core mechanics are there for the next game to be jaw-dropping. The lack of good bosses and encounters with unique enemies really hampers the game, but overall it's great fun, and a game you should really get with your PS5 as it is really enjoyable and a lovely little showcase. I'm feeling a strong 7 for Spider-Man Miles Morales. Thank you very much for watching. Look after yourself, leave your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. And if you do want to enter the giveaway for Genshin Impact, you just got to say the word Spidey in your comment below and we will pull your name out of the comment picker. Take care and thank you very much for your time.